Preservation of their freedom will be guaranteed by a national commitment to self-discipline, industry, loyalty, unity, and an abiding respect for Christian values and the rule of law. Now know ye therefore, we the inheritors of and successors to this family of islands, recognizing the supremacy of God and believing in the fundamental rights and freedoms of the individual, do hereby proclaim in solemn praise the establishment of a free and democratic sovereign nation founded on spiritual values and in which no man, woman, or child shall ever be slave or bondsman to anyone, or their labor exploited, or their lives frustrated by deprivation, and do hereby provide by these articles for the indivisible unity and creation under God of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
person in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, from the north to the south, from the east to the west, needs to be aware of the possibility of COVID. We have confirmed community transmission in the Bahamas.
Alcohol is not something you need. And so the Prime Minister, those in the rest of the Bahamas, that they shut down because that is not essential.
I got a message through Instagram from a designer in the U.S. who asked if I would have been interested in assisting with making masks. I said yes, of course.
Comes the 16th day with the 15th case of novel coronavirus here in the Bahamas. This as the global count stands at well over 870,000. The deaths beyond 43,000. Good morning, everyone. I'm Akush Lapinder, and this is your morning edition. The latest developments regarding COVID-19 and the action plan being taken by the government to be revealed as Prime Minister, the Most Honorable Dr. Hubert Minnis, is set to address the nation this afternoon at 4. That address will be carried live on the ZNES network. Meantime, the Bahamas turning the corner with an upswing in COVID-19 cases. The numbers climbed in the past several hours to 15. The latest patient, a 57-year-old female out of Grand Bahama who remains hospitalized in stable condition. Now, the woman has no travel history and no known direct link to the previous cases. This brings the confirmed cases in Grand Bahama to 3 and 12 in New Providence. Also, a patient described as case number 12 is now hospitalized and is receiving supportive management. All previous cases remain in stable condition and are in isolation at this time. But Minister of Health, Dr. Dwayne Sands, says we are on the brink of an uphill climb in COVID-19 cases.
The surge has started in the Bahamas, and we would like to do everything that we can to minimize the number of people infected, the number of people hospitalized, and the number of people that die. Every person in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, from the north to the south, from the east to the west, needs to be aware of the possibility of COVID. We have confirmed community transmission in the Bahamas. Everybody needs to pay attention to the principles of hand washing, social distancing, isolation, and if you have any respiratory symptoms at all, fever, cough, call the COVID hotline, because the symptoms can be very subtle.
200 people still in quarantine. Dr. Sands also made it clear that so far there are no recovered COVID-19 patients in the Bahamas.
People have asked the question about there's no recovered patient on the list. The definition of recovered requires a series of negative COVID tests done over a period of time. That is what we have agreed will be the definition of a recovered patient. So even though patient number 1 is recovering, and according to lay parlance or lay talk, they may be recovered, when we report to our international public health agencies, we need to make sure that our definition of recovered is in line with the international definitions. When that happens, and we've gotten a series of negative molecular RT-PCR COVID tests, we will be pleased to report that patient and subsequent others as recovered. Because what we'd like to see is that the person is no longer shedding virus and no longer contagious.
Well, with the death of a Bimini woman, there are concerns regarding the level of health care in the Family Islands, especially in a COVID-19 climate. 57-year-old Kim Johnson-Rowe died after she was airlifted to the capital on Monday night. The cause of death has not yet been determined. However, she displayed symptoms consistent with coronavirus. The health minister was questioned on the level of care in the islands.
We do not have intensive care units in Acklins, Crooked Island, Bimini, Long Island, Andros, etc. Nor are we likely in the foreseeable future to have intensive care units. And so, as we look seriously at the rollout of our national response to COVID, I think we have to be honest. We have to be direct with the Bahamian public to have them understand the implications. This is not about machines. This is about the holistic ability to provide competent, intensive care support to critically ill patients. And that can only be done in Grand Bahama and Nassau at this time.
Well, the small community of Bimini, meantime, mourning the death of Johnson-Rowe, a prominent figure and a member of that island's business community. A community leader on that island is calling for prayers for the people of Bimini as they come to terms with this painful situation. Here's Megan Shepard.
Pastor of Born Again Church, Oral Ellis, says that he last saw his cousin Kim Roll on Saturday, March 14th at a funeral where she said the invocation. He says that at that time, Kim seemed to be functioning fine and very normal. Now, some 2 weeks later, Kim is dead after presenting with flu-like and what seemed to be COVID-19 symptoms. Roll was airlifted to the nation's capital on Monday, where she passed away. Ellis says this news took the island by surprise.
You know, it came as a shocker to everybody. As a matter of fact, when I got the message, I talked with her brother-in-law, who's a close friend of mine, and we were under the impression, you know, that she was experiencing respiratory difficulties, and they had gotten a respirator for her, and they were just waiting for the plane to airlift her to seek medical attention in the hospital. And I got a call while I was talking to one of my colleagues in the ministry, and they said that she was just airlifted. And so we were under the impression that, well, it's going to get better from there. And then I got a call from one of my pastor colleagues in Freeport and asking me to confirm whether she had died. And so I was shaken because that was the last thing we would have been expecting. And so it would have caught all of us off guard in Bimini, and so, you know, we're still shaking up by that. And in my limited conversation, because movements now are limited, And, you know, people were just saying, wow, you know, everybody's just taken by surprise.
Now, the Minister of Health, the Honorable Dr. Dwayne Sands, has confirmed that Kim did present symptoms consistent with that of COVID-19. However, no official tests have confirmed that she died from the virus. Ellis says that now is not the time for assumptions as the family mourns the loss.
I'm holding the fact that it does not necessarily have to be the coronavirus, but nevertheless, she is dead, and that's the bottom line. But about 3 years ago, you know, I fought through pneumonia, and it took me about 10 days before I realized that I had it, and that's why they call it a walking pneumonia. So I'm believing that it could be maybe the case where it might be pneumonia, you know, because they are all of the same family. And so when you get to that place, you know, your organs start shutting down. And so I'm reminded of that with my case. But I was able to get out in time and to get attention. So, but like I say, you know, the bottom line is that she is dead, and that's a sad occasion, whether one way or the other.
In light of this recent death, Ellis says he believes that residents on the island of Bimini are doing their part to follow the lockdown and adhere to emergency orders.
And so I'm sitting in the yard, and I can see the streets, and the streets are rather quiet. Every now and again, I will see the police pass through, and so they are monitoring the streets as to your movements. Most of us, you know, we have two businesses. They were closed, now going on to the second week, and so our movements have been limited, and so we are complying, and so I'm assuming that the majority of the people will, especially the elderly ones and the more adult ones. Every now and again, you would see one or two of the children. But it's been very limited in movement. So for the most part, I'm thinking that we are complying with the curfew.
The local pastor is admonishing Bahamians to stay in prayer and to follow the advice of medical professionals and the government.
We are still holding faith and still praying and believing God that, you know, this too will pass, but my prayer is that God will be done, and we are in His will. And so the only thing we can do now is just continue to pray and follow the orders of the health professionals and stay indoors.
Megan Shepard, 7S Network News.
Well, in other news, a welcomed breather for Bahamian saddles with paying insurance premiums in these tough times. The government suspended the payment of such from March 17th for the duration of the state of public emergency, extending six days thereafter. According to the order, should any insured event occur, giving rise to liability of the insurer to pay a claim, the insurer shall honor the claim and only deduct the renewal fee and any deductible from the money paid in the claim. Meantime, a similar relaxation coming in from the Bahamas Mortgage Corporation, which has agreed to provide a 3-month loan payment deferral plan for its clients negatively impacted by the pandemic. That is, those whose accounts were in good standing before the onset of COVID-19. Now, the plans to resume payments with accrued interest being applied to the principal balance at the end of this period is important, though, for mortgagers who have been financially impacted and may have difficulty meeting their commitment to contact the BMC as soon as possible at 502-1050 or email COVID-19@bmchomes.com to discuss the requirements of the plan. The corporation's reminding that interest will continue to accrue on the principal balance if the loan payment deferral plan is accepted. Meantime, homeowners who can't afford to continue making payments are encouraged to do so rather than see their mortgage balance increase or maturity date extended as a result of accrued interest. When we return, there's more when we return.
Hi, I'm Stuart Cove, and for many years, have taken pride in introducing young Bahamians and international visitors to the wonders of our Bahamian underwater world. Our marine ecosystem helps to keep our tourism industry and fisheries sector healthy and lucrative. We must all do our part in protecting it for future generations. And that is why I ensure our staff and customers are taught about the importance of coral reefs. I do this and more to protect our underwater life because I care. Do you?
Nature-based tourism supplies almost $50 million in revenue for Androsians every year. These priceless resources will continue to provide renewable benefits for thousands of people for years to come, as long as we take long-term action to preserve what's rightfully ours. The natural environment has played a vital role in our culture and economy for generations. Let's take care of nature, and nature will take care of us.
Gallery, number 3 Safri Square, Bay Street, Nassau, Bahamas.
Welcome back. As the global fight against COVID-19 intensifies, medical supplies are running low, leading to others doing what they can to pitch in. Lloyd Allen spoke with a local designer who says demands from the U.S. for masks have come in, and she's assisting in a unique way.
New York has become ground zero for new cases of COVID-19. This week, the governor called for all hands on deck in the state experiencing the worst of the coronavirus pandemic in the U.S. and has turned out more medical staff, a surge in medical supply requests, and a hospital in Central Park expected to be operational by day's end Tuesday. A clarion call has also been made for factories around the world to produce more masks for medical frontliners, in addition to other states needing the necessary protective gear. Local designer Jillian Curry-Williams says she too is assisting with the production of masks as supplies remain limited.
I got a message through Instagram from a designer in the U.S. who asked if I would have been interested in assisting with making masks. I said yes, of course, and he gave me the contact to reach out to the person who was in charge of this particular setting. So I did that.
Williams says the requests for general and surgical masks vary from a few dozen to hundreds for a number of U.S. facilities.
Charles Memorial Oncology in LA needs 150. Gulf Coast Regional Medical Center in Panama City needs 40. Turley Family Health Center, can't remember where they are, they need 50. And then Trinity Health in New York, they said they need as many as possible. So I'm going to try to assist them as best I can.
There are several components needed to construct the protective gear, with orders increasing by the day.
Well, the first set I did, they had to be like, for want of a better word, insulated. So I had to put Pellon to the fabric, and then I was like, what can I put in between? So I called Ports, I think they're Ports International, sells the medical supplies, and I asked them about gauze, because I know my mother's a nurse, so I knew what gauze was for. And they said, yes, they had it. They had a stretch one on the roll. So I got that. So I had to put it in between those, and that took a little longer because of that process.
She says the intent is to remain operational from home for as long as possible to assist in fighting COVID-19.
The ones that I'm working on now don't take as long, but it's a process of doing some with the strings, to tie, and then some with the elastic. So I'm trying to do a balance of half and half, because of course the ones with the tie, it costs more to make as opposed to the ones with elastic. But they would prefer the ones with the ties now, because they said the elastic, because they've been wearing them for so long, is rubbing the back of their ear. So that's where I'm at right now.
Like other designers, she has joined the fight against COVID-19.
It's a one-man band, but I run it like a factory. I do connect them all together, put all the interface in, put all the straps, put all the elastics, then bring it all together. So that's how I'm running it. I think everybody knows that Remilda Rose Designs does whatever we can to assist whoever it is that we can. So as long as I am able, I will assist them.
Her first shipment to the United States left on Monday, and she continues to produce quality masks for the brave staffers on the front line of this global pandemic, as well as local medical workers.
Actually, I had a doctor got 10 yesterday from me, 10 of the masks, and I've had persons who have put in orders for masks. So, yeah, people are reaching out, wanting the mask. Actually, yes, the U.S. is under quarantine, but I've seen so many designers on Instagram selling the mask and making it, people are buying them as a fashion statement. So, but, yeah. So we're going to do the best we can to assist them, and if anybody wants any mask here, we'll assist them as well.
For the morning edition, Lloyd Allen, ZNS Network News.
Well, the decision to close down liquor stores certainly not going down easy for a growing number of Bahamians who are perhaps relying on a bottle of rum to lift their spirits. Well, in this report, our Charles Fisher explores the pros and cons of the government's decision with a local professional.
There are persons expressing their feelings for liquor stores to be opened. Even a viral song by Potcake on dependence for alcohol. Speaking with Dr. Eric Fox, Executive Director of Teen Challenge, he stated the reason why some persons are so up in arms over the stores being open.
Alcohol is not something you need. And so the Prime Minister, those in the rest of the powers that be, they shut down because that is not essential. That's not an essential thing. That's not like food. That's not like medication. Like some people need medication. You need gas in the car, you need to go to the bank. It's an unessential thing. So, and come on, man. Don't play me fool. People can find alcohol if they want it. So it ain't that bad. Hey, these people don't just want, they're just willing to find stuff to complain about. So it ain't that bad. People can get alcohol if you, come on, man. This is Nassau, man. We had 30 days going on for years. You think it's shut down now?
This is really affecting society now because Bahamians don't need a reason to drink.
Every occasion, people, they have a wig, they have rum, they get phone, they have rum, they get radio. A lot of people use alcohol to cope. So now we are seeing now the underlying effects that people now, alcohol is limited. So you really see their bodies are really crying out for the stuff to get by. So that tells me a lot of persons do not have life skills where they can handle circumstances and situations, so they resort to certain things to cover up things, and now we see it coming forward now. They want that rum to help them cope. The bars are closed. A lot of persons are bored now, and normally men in particular, even some women, they used to go to the bar and drink. They can't do that no more. They can't hang out no more, so now what in the world I'm going to do? They got all this time on their hand. What are they going to do? I think you got to buckle down, not because you don't have a drink mean your life over. Your life not over. You might have circumstances and situations. We live in a Christian nation. My thing is pray. The most important thing is to pray and call on the Lord. God has promised never to leave us nor forsake us. He's not going to say we might have to make some major adjustments in our life to adjust, right? But guess what? We're not going to die.
Right now is not the time to be looking at alternatives to pass the time or ease the stress.
The people who are taking over-the-counter drugs and medication, there are people who blaming people, there are people who are in denial, and there are people who are drinking the cover up. To me, all is one and the same. People that have not been trained how to deal with crisis. You know, there's a lot of people out there who want to teach people how to be a success. You start to use this stuff to cope, and then you need it to cope. You need it. Some people need it just to get by in the evening. Some people need it for every day. It all depends on the individual and what they have been through and what they can handle.
Some negative vibes end up being eye-openers or opportunities.
It's opportunity now for you to try to overcome this alcohol problem. So every situation that might come as a crisis is also an opportunity. Not opportunity might be hard. I don't say it's going to be easy, but you could overcome if you ask God and you strengthen yourself. If this is what I want to do, you can do it. You could overcome it.
Fox also expressed that after this, expect an uprise.
Persons in my profession and my colleagues, I just need to brace ourselves because we can have a lot of domestic violence situations, a lot of issues that we have to deal with. Man, people get laid off, they ain't got no job, they get families, and then the thing what they normally use to cope with, they won't get that no more. So we can be doing a lot of counseling, a lot of life skills training. It's sad, but this is a reality. And this is the time now for persons who are trained with life skills training in this particular time for us to brace ourselves and do a lot of pro bono services, because a lot of people ain't have the money to pay for those services. It's the time now for extend ourselves and open up some free clinics and go ahead and help some people. People will come to you, offer them some free services. This time they're trying to make no money off people. People are eating. This time now that we have a skill, this time now for us to help our country with those who have the skill and do some free services. I'm opening up some free services for people who want counseling. You get your children, you need some help, you get your sons on drugs, you want some problems, call me. My number is 434-8111. My services are free.
Once again, let's all help on that number, 434-8111. Please take advantage of the opportunity. For the Morning Edition, I'm Charles Fisher.
Well, tough times call for tough measures, and that, of course, includes how and where you spend your money. In this report, our Cleopatra Murphy sat and spoke with a business executive who's urging Bahamians to be a bit more penny-wise.
Former president of the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce and Employers Confederation, Edison Sumner, is discouraging discretionary spending amidst the economic uncertainty brought on by the novel coronavirus. His comments come as the virus's impact becomes evident in the U.S., where last week some 3.28 million Americans filed for unemployment benefits, according to the U.S. Department of Labor. In the Bahamas, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, the Honorable Peter Turnquest, says since March 22nd, 1,430 Bahamians had applied to the Department of Social Services for assistance, while the National Insurance Board had received more than 7,000 emails inquiring about unemployment benefits. With many people now not receiving a paycheck due to mass layoffs in the tourism sector, Sumner says purchase only what is needed.
Stop the spending on the luxury items, on certain levels of entertainment, and spend money only on the essential items for the time being, right? Utilities, food, medical supplies, etc. Anything else, I would say, keep that money where it is, hold on to it as long as you can.
Sumner, who is also the founder of Sumner Strategic Partners, says it is a double-edged sword, noting that while spending should be slowed, Bahamians still have to spend to keep the economy going.
We cannot stop spending, because once you stop spending, as I explained to others before, money is what we call currency. All right? Currency is current, it's fluid. It is supposed to flow. So when you stop spending money, then you cause the economy itself to come to a screeching halt. That is something that we do not want.
Sumner also urges members of the public to reduce utility usage and reduce movement about the community.
You've got to, keep fuel in your vehicle. When you're burning air conditioning at home, since now everybody's home all day for 24 hours at least, those who have air conditioners in their homes will be tempted to turn it on and keep it on. Some people can afford to do that, but not everybody can. The majority of people may not be able to afford that because come the end of the month or whenever the period comes again for repayment, then those bills have to be paid.
He also says people who have loans with financial institutions should contact their banks and other financial advisors about getting some leeway.
All of us are going through challenges right now, some more severe than others, but I would say pick up the phone, call your bank, let them know your situation, and see if they can work with you to get some things sorted out.
Sumner says with many people at home, now is the time to be productive, like taking an online course or developing a new skill to re-enter the job market after the novel coronavirus pandemic is under control. Cleopatra Murphy, ZNS Network News.
Straight ahead, we continue our discussions on pregnancy and COVID-19. You don't want to miss it.
Hey, have you heard? ZNS is everywhere you are when you download the new ZNS app. Whether you're on the move or just kicking back. Miss something on the news? It's there. Want to keep up with a live update? It's there. Or just want to listen to your favorite station? It's there too. Download the app now from the App Store and Google Play Store.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, your hottest place on the planet for rims, tints, tires, and auto sales. We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Track Lights, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires. Cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king. Blessed love.
The Ministry of Health wishes to advise members of the public that prevention is key during this flu season. Practicing good cough hygiene can make the difference between you and your loved ones getting the flu or spreading the influenza virus. Good cough hygiene habits include covering your mouth and nose with a tissue when coughing or sneezing, and proper disposal of the tissue in a trash bin. Coughing or sneezing into your upper sleeve near your inner elbow and not your hands when a tissue is not available. Avoiding the use of handkerchiefs and towels as they hold germs, becoming a nest for the virus. And frequently washing your hands with soap and water, which is listed as one of the most important steps you can take to avoid getting sick and passing the virus on to others. If you have any questions about how to practice good cough hygiene to avoid catching or spreading the flu, contact your nearest community clinic or the Health Education Division at the Ministry of Health. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health in partnership with the Public Hospitals Authority.
Launch authorization received. Countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition.
My dear students, the Ministry of Education wants to ensure that your education continues while you're on this break away from school. It is important that you continue with your lessons. Therefore, we would like for you to go to the Ministry of Education's webpage and register. That's the ministryofelucationbahamas.com and register on the Virtual Learning tab. Go to the Ministry of Education webpage, that is ministryofelucationbahamas.com, and register on the Virtual Learning tab. Very important that you continue your education.
As promised, we continue our look at pregnancy and safe delivery in lockdown. Joining us again is consultant obstetrician and gynecologist Dr. Andrea Griffith-Bowe. Dr. Bowe, again, welcome back.
Good morning.
Well, today let's take a look at what the maternal and child health care teams are doing to ensure the continuity of care for pregnant women.
Well, we don't want to interrupt the care that we deliver to our pregnant women, but we do realize that we're in a national emergency. And so what we don't want is to have crowded antenatal clinics. Certainly, we had a scenario yesterday when we had over 60 individuals attend an antenatal clinic, and indeed, it will be very difficult to ensure adequate social distancing in these scenarios. So what we have done is that we're only seeing at this point those patients that are designated high risk, or ladies that are 36 weeks, 37 weeks, 38 weeks, 39 weeks, and 40 weeks pregnant. All other patients should remain indoors at home and wait for a call from their clinic for their clinic appointment reschedule.
That's on the clinic side. What's being done, precautionary measures that is, at the Princess Margaret Hospital for women coming into the maternity wards?
Excellent question. So we have worked really, really hard to make the experience at Princess Margaret Hospital comfortable but safe for our patients. So maternity patients would note that as they enter the institution, that they will have to be answering a few questions as it relates to COVID symptoms. They will also have their temperature check done before they can be allowed on any of our units. It seems a bit extreme, but we want all of our patients and our staff to be safe. If an individual has symptoms suspected of COVID and the questionnaire and the temperature suggests that they need to be screened, patients would immediately be provided with a mask and taken to an isolation area where they would be kept away from other patients and staff members.
Are there any concerns for Family Island pregnant mothers coming in from the Family Islands?
Absolutely. So we've spoken to the midwifery staff in the Family Islands, and so we have an idea of the numbers of pregnant ladies who are at term. Meaning, when we say at term, we're talking about from 36 weeks and beyond. And so we've been asking these young ladies if they can get out of the Family Island, because as we are aware, it's difficult to get emergency flights out. And for the most part, ladies have been compliant. We do know that we have about 5 individuals at term left in Hatchet Bay. We have about 3 in Lower Bogue, and we have about 2 in Mangrove Key. And so we are working really, really hard at getting these patients out, because it will be very difficult to address an obstetric emergency in this current pandemic scenario.
Any backup measures just in the event these women are unable to get to the capital?
Well, we've spoken to the midwifery staff in these clinics, and we're asking them to be prepared in the event that they may need to do a delivery on the Family Island. But this is not the ideal scenario. So we're hoping and praying that we can get these 10 or so women out of these islands and either to Freeport or to Nassau.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Bo Griffith-Bo, for joining us again here on the Morning Edition. Great advice there. Now, in times like these, motivation is key. For a bit of that this morning, we turn to Bishop Dr. Patrick Rodriguez of the Prophetic Love Ministries.
It's good, and he's greatly to be praised. Let's celebrate the goodness of Jesus. Let's think about his goodness and all that he has done for us. And you know, even though we are going through a time of tribulation, when Jesus said, in this world, you will have trouble, but be of good cheer, because I have overcome the world. So I would just like to share with you from the book of Exodus chapter 15 and verse 26. And it reads, and said, if thou wilt diligently hearken to the voice of the Lord thy God, and will do that which is right in his sight, and will give ears to his commandments, and keep all his statutes, I will put none of these diseases upon thee, which I have brought upon the Egyptians. For I am the Lord that healeth thee. And we have known throughout the Holy Scriptures that God is a healer. John 3:16 says, for God so loved the world. I want you to know that God still loved the world. He still loves his people. That he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believe in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life. And so in the midst of the trial, especially when we are facing a time with the coronavirus, in place, we just want to know that God still loves us. His eyes is on the sparrow, and he's still watching over us. God wants us to just rejoice. He said, come now, let's reason together, said the Lord. Though our sins be like scarlet, they can be made white as snow. Though they be red like crimson, they can be made white as wool. He wants us to just come to know him, come closer to him, draw nearer to him. For there is no secret that God cannot do. He said he is a healer. So let us continue to draw near to God. Let's continue to pray and keep our families safe. God bless you in Jesus' name.
For the latest news and highlights specialize in Bahamian culture. Tune in to the new Junkanoo 242, Saturdays, 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. on the ZNS Radio and Television Network. Radio Bahamas 1540 a.m. on 104.5 FM and TV 13. Each week, host Arlene Nash Ferguson and Darren Bastian engages listeners with some of the movers and shakers of Junkanoo and Bahamian culture. Don't miss Junkanoo 242, Saturday at 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. on the ZNS Radio and Television Network.
There's a spark of greatness in each of us. That spark is called personality. Individual gifts and talents provide the fuel to set that spark ablaze. Each child has the right to an education which values their personality and nurtures their talents, while teaching them to be respectful to their parents and their cultures.
Let's take a look at your morning traffic. Our Lloyd Allen is in the Quackle Street area this Wednesday.
The traffic report is sponsored by Bahamas First. First in insurance. Today, tomorrow.
So she can step in. Well, good morning, Makusha. What you're looking at is a drone shot. This one coming in from the area of Quackoo Street and Market Street. We've heard from officers that there was a vehicle, accident involving a police vehicle. Now, we're going to get some details on that, as well as overnight traffic from our very own Crescenia Johnson. She's from the Royal Bahamas Police Force Traffic Division. She gives that report. She's also going to speak to issues occurring over the curfew, as well as past at 9 p.m. hour in reference to some motorists who are on the streets for reasons still unbeknownst to officers.
A pleasant good morning to you and a pleasant good morning, Bahamas. Well, coming out of the night period, just some stats for you. We've had 8 accidents involving damages. We've had 6 accidents involving some injury and 1 hit-and-run accident. One of those accidents that we've experienced came right from this location where a vehicle ran into a police vehicle, causing some damage, no injuries from that incident. However, I just want to advise the motoring public, as it pertains to your vehicles not being licensed and insured. There are persons who have some concerns because their vehicles fall within this time during that March period. This is now the 1st of April. So we're just advising persons that the Road Traffic Department, as well as insurance companies, they are permitted to be open from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. So you can have your vehicles taken to be insured, have your vehicles taken to be licensed between these hours. You are not to operate your vehicle if your vehicle is not insured, if your vehicle is not licensed. There are persons who have driver's license and their driver's license have not been updated, they're invalid. You're not to be on the street if your vehicle is not licensed and if you do not have a valid driver's license. You're still going to be charged under the Road Traffic Act. If you permit somebody to use your vehicle knowing that your vehicle is not in the position that it needs to be in, yes, you will still be charged. So we're just advising the motoring public as much as possible to have your vehicles outfitted for this particular reason. We're going to be increasing police presence on the streets. As you can see behind me, we have officers conducting road checks. They're also inquiring on where persons are proceeding to, if you're coming from a particular location, if you're going to a particular location. So yes, we are strictly enforcing the rules of the road, and yes, we're enforcing the rules and the mandate as it pertains to this 24-hour lockdown. So ladies and gentlemen, please conduct yourselves accordingly. If you have to use the streets, use it for only essential purposes. If it's anything outside of that window, please stay at home. Back to you, Lloyd.
Well, of course, some great news there coming in from Officer Johnson as officers remain on the streets and on the front line of this COVID-19 pandemic and continue to enforce the rules and regulations here in the country. We're reporting back to you, Mr. Charles Fisher, there in studio.
Thanks a lot, Lloyd. Well, this morning, once again, we are joined by Natasha Downtown Brown. We always talk about safety precautions, so we have to sanitize the area that you'll be working in. Yes. And you have a special for the, what do you call them again?
Recycled
teenagers. Those are the senior citizens in the country. And what will they be doing this morning? You're back with your towels and stuff like that.
Good morning to all. Again, just
to let persons know that if you don't have equipment and if you have access to some towels, I've got a good routine that you can do. Just using the towels. Yesterday we used the glides, and so you want to make sure you're stretched and ready to go. So first, what we will start off with is you want to take your hands safely, place them into the towel, and then we want to do like we ran yesterday. You want to take your time, and it's almost like you're running in motion. Make sure you're breathing, your core is tight, and your arms are getting the most that you can out of the exercise. Okay, so now we're gonna take it here, hold it. You're gonna open up to the sides, bring them around, right to the chest area, press up. Take it out, open to the sides, press into a push-up. So you wanna do it for about 15 reps and hold it. Then you wanna take it forward where you just pull into the back, allow the legs to raise behind you, and it's almost like a back hyper extension. But make sure you don't overexert yourself because you can pull or injure your lower back. So keeping the hands nice and straight and hold it here. Then to work your obliques, turn sideways. Allow one hand to take you as far as you're able to pull back in. Let's try that again. All the way down, pull back in. That takes care of the outer obliques. Let's turn to the other side. Again, you want to be doing reps of 15. Take it all the way down. Bring it all the way up. And all the way down right here. Great.
And Tasha, one thing is for sure, if you don't get a good exercise with this, you'll get a good clean floor. This is something you can do to also clean those tiles in the house as well. So when you're exercising, you clean those tiles. All fun and jokes aside. Now let's talk about if persons want to get these workouts, they can go online and check you out.
Yeah, they will have to connect with me, 426-6420. And I've started the online training, 6 a.m. in the morning or 6 p.m. in the evening.
How can they get to that?
They will have, once they call the number, then I will send them the link.
So what's in store for tomorrow? Tomorrow is Thursday, and you know, most of us got our weeks thrown off, our days thrown off. Some people thought today was Thursday, some thinking it's Friday, so tomorrow's Thursday. What do we have?
Tomorrow's Thursday is geared for the children.
Good, so we're gonna get the kids out and make sure that they have a great time tomorrow. So what do they need to bring?
Tomorrow, they will just be needing a medicine ball or some type of ball if they have at home.
Well, if you have a basketball, medicine ball, any kind of ball, just make sure bring it tomorrow. And we'll be going downtown with Natasha Brown with our morning workouts for those persons who cannot get out and do those morning jog and those morning walks anymore. We're going to come right back and we're going to let you see just how persons have been passing the time in this lockdown.
downtown Natasha Brown, and welcome to The Ultimate You.
The ZNS community page now has its own home on Channel 230. Be sure to tune into this channel to see informative notices, funeral announcements, birthday greetings, and much, much more. So watch the ZNS community channel today on Cable 230.
The Ministry of Health wishes to advise members of the public that prevention is key during this flu season. Practicing good cough hygiene can make the difference between you and your loved ones getting the flu or spreading the influenza virus. Good cough hygiene habits include covering your mouth and nose with a tissue when coughing or sneezing, and proper disposal of the tissue in a trash bin. Coughing or sneezing into your upper sleeve near your inner elbow and not your hands when a tissue is not available. Avoiding the use of handkerchiefs and towels as they hold germs, becoming a nest for the virus. And frequently washing your hands with soap and water, which is listed as one of the most important steps you can take to avoid getting sick and passing the virus on to others. If you have any questions about how to practice good cough hygiene to avoid catching or spreading the flu, contact your nearest community clinic or the Health Education Division at the Ministry of Health. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health in partnership with the Public Hospitals Authority.
Well, it's time for our morning forecast, and we woke up to a pretty nice morning with mostly sunny skies, but that will all change in a few hours. There's a frost system heading this way. We'll tell you all about that in just a minute. Temperature at 76 degrees, the relative humidity 75%. We have southwest winds at 12 miles per hour. The barometric pressure rather low this morning, 1,008.9 millibars. That's 29.81 inches, and the pressure is rising. Temperatures around the islands this morning. Marsh, Ababaco, they have 72 degrees, and there's some shower activity in that area. 75 in Greentoll Key. In Freeport, Grand Bahama, 75 degrees. The Berry Islands at 79, and that's the boundary right about there where that frost system is. 78 degrees in Alderstown, Bimini, 77 in Harbour Island, Roxanne, Eleuthera, Alderstown, Canal, Staniel Key as well. And that extends right into Camp Space, St. Andrews. Warmer still in Fresh Creek, Central Andrews at 79 degrees. So we take you into San Salvador. They have a temperature of 77 degrees. Rim Key, 77. In Ragged Island, more 77s in Clarence Sound, Long Island, Crooked Island, Betsy Bay, and Acklands. Matchetown in Agua, 78 degrees, and the Turks and Caicos Islands at 78 degrees as well. And just in case there are some outbound flights this morning, well, here are some high and low temperatures you're likely to find at selected cities.
You got to go. You need to go. Deep in the bush, I tell you. Tell me now how you feeling. Let me be your doctor. Blood pressure, I got the healing. The bush woman, that's what they call me. Come to me if you need a cure. You're gonna get your high fever. Boy, I got what you're looking for. Something to relieve the pressure, something to relieve the pain. This bush, it got plenty power. Cause the blind man to see again. Come and get you some of this. You know you need it.
And that's going to do it for your travel forecast now for vessels plowing the waters of the Bahamas today in the northwestern islands. The winds are going to be southwest to west around 12 to 18 knots. That's ahead of that cold front which is heading our way. Behind the front, though, the winds will swing out of the northwest to north, increasing in speeds 15 to 25 knots. Wave heights building 5 to 8 feet over the ocean. So we're starting you off with a caution flag, but once that foul boundary goes through, that caution will be bumped up to an advisory. So we're asking boaters to exercise extreme caution in the northwest Bahamas as that funnel system pushes through. Low tide this morning at 8:35. The high tide will take place in the afternoon at 2:23. Now for the central and southeastern islands, the winds will be southeast to south at 10 to 15 knots. However, this afternoon in the central Bahamas, those winds will swing out of the southwest to west, increasing in speeds 12 to 18 knots. The wave heights building 3 to 6 feet over the ocean as the frontal boundary is expected to move into the central Bahamas during the afternoon hours. showers. That's going to do it for your boating forecast. Now for your forecast for today, we have that pre-frontal line just went through the capital. You can see some high-level clouds associated with that, but no precipitation. However, behind that, the front is now moving right through the Abacos and the Borealis, and it has some showers and embedded thunderstorms in that. As a matter of fact, the Department of Meteorology has issued a severe weather warning for parts of the Northwest Bahamas in the vicinity of that front for this morning. But as it continues to progress towards the south and east, and if it holds up, we could get some showers here in the capital later on, which could be heavy at times with 1 or 2 thunderstorms in the mix as well. Your forecast calls for mostly cloudy with a few heavy showers and thunderstorms along that frontal line. The high temperature today, 80 degrees. Tonight, we are looking at clearing skies, temperatures dropping to cool levels around 68 degrees, and the extended weather forecast that will take us through the weekend. We're looking at lots of sunshine, beautiful outdoor activities that can be taken care of. But remember, you know, that coronavirus is still plaguing us, so we are still restricted as to how much outdoor activity we can take in. Temperature-wise, pretty nice over the next week or so. Those nighttime temperatures in the mid to upper 60s right through our 7-day cycle, and some low 80s during the daytime. So lovely weather once we get this frontal boundary pushes through us by this afternoon. Makishla?
Thanks, Basil. Now time for your COVID-19 picker-upper, and for that we turn to more of your home videos depicting how you're spending your moments under the pandemic atmosphere.
What time you gotta be at school, little girl?
When I get ready.
I'm finna go back to jail.
Yeah, that's right.
Say, oh my God, I see the way you shine. Take my hand, my deep, and make it more in I. You know you stopped me whenever I was passing by. And now I beg to see you dance just one more time. Ooh, I see you every time.
He's got mommy and daughter. And it says he's got daughter and mommy. And it says he's got mommy and daughter. And it says he's got the whole world in his hands.
Deeper than night. Now I need someone to breathe me back to life.
Well, just a reminder to send your videos, pictures showing how you're passing your time in the government-imposed lockdown, or if you want to salute those on the front line, the number 477-0546. And we just want to remind you to join us on the ZNS Network for the Prime Minister's address this afternoon at 4. Expect to hear the latest on the action plan and developments relating to COVID-19. That wraps up our morning edition. Once again, I'm Akash Lopenda.
Bush doctor can fix it. Bush doctor can heal us sick. All natural medication. Boil it up if you're feeling sick. Something to relieve the pressure, fever. On your feeling out. This bush, it got plenty power. Let me put this bush in you. Let me give you some of this. You know you need this. Know you could like this. Don't try to fight this. Come on, let me. Slurry, my finger tip. Push therapy. But not to bring relief. Just come to me. Tell me now how you feeling. Why let me be your doctor? Cause pressure, I got the
healing. You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Welcome to a closer look. The coronavirus and its impact on the economy of the Bahamas is our focus this week. And so my guest is the Minister of Finance, Deputy Prime Minister, the Honorable Peter Turnquest. DPM, welcome to the show. What a time.
Good evening, Mr. Newbold. This is definitely an unprecedented time.
As I said to somebody, there's no playbook on this one.
Yeah.
Either locally or globally.
Yeah.
And so we're
going to have to
do the best we can and try to get it right.
Get it right. 50-60% of the GDP is gone for at least 30 days. There's no tourism. Obviously, be longer than that. Your budget, to begin with, your budget projections, they got to be out the window now.
Yes, we are projecting that we're going to see about a 10% loss in our revenues, which is going to be significant. We are doing our best to ensure that we have compliance that in the period leading into this crisis. That we manage our expenditure as best we can, rearranging priorities to lessen the impact as best we can.
Financial legerdemain is what I say is what you got to do now.
Yeah, it's going to be a challenging period.
Yeah, sure. The government revenue is obviously going to take a major hit. Any projections ahead as to when you can begin to even think about recouping some of the losses that you're going to
So we know that this virus has got about a 3-month to 4-month life by all estimates. But that's not the end of it for us, because as we know, we lag behind the recovery of the United States. And so let's say, for the sake of argument, that the U.S. recovers in 2 months, 3 months. It's another 2-3 months for us before we catch up. And so we're looking well into the fall before we can reasonably expect that things can start to become somewhat normal. And even then, I think it is prudent for everybody to plan for a longer tail on this, because we have to build back confidence, we have to build back our market, and so that is going to take some effort and some time.
Yeah. Is there any way you jumpstart some of the projects that are in the pipeline, for example, to kind of mitigate the weight of these losses that are going to be sustained?
Right. So what we're doing is trying to see how we can reprioritize our domestic infrastructure projects in particular, because those are more or less shovel-ready. Meaning that we can get people to work relatively quickly using the public purse to fund those necessary infrastructure projects anyway. So we'll try to accelerate some of those things to take up some of this capacity that is going to be idle from the tourism sector. In addition to that, we are encouraging our foreign direct partners to ramp up, speed up their projects. We're doing everything that we can from the government side to make sure that the permitting is done efficiently and expedite all those approvals so that there is no impediment for them to start, so that they can take this period to actually construct or to renovate or whatever they need to do in order to be ready when the rebound does begin.
Because for all practical purposes, the government is going to be the one injecting life, if you will, through money into the economy to keep it going.
We certainly anticipate that there's going to be a heavy draw on the public sector in the short term. We are supporting small businesses in particular. We're supporting families, individuals as the best we can in the sector to ensure that they remain viable, remain alive during this period, so that, again, when the all clear or the call is made to go back to work, that they will not have to start from zero, that they will still have some